What? Okay. Please tell me that's connected. Live.
Yeah.
Live. Are we live? Am I live? Am I live? Let's see if there's any viewers coming on here. I'm nervous. I don't like that. When I tried to reconnect there.
You got your coffee, man?
Let's just see if I'm live here. I got my coffee. Yeah. Let me refresh this.
Hey,
Oh, I'm not connected on this. That's the deal. What's your Wi-Fi?
Sorry, guys. We'll be temporarily. It's the SMR.
I didn't even think of that. If I want to follow up with... Actually, yours is live, though, so you can get comment. Oh, no, but that's not my page. This is hilarious.
I tagged you, though, too.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's so funny. I was like wondering why nothing was showing up there. All right. Yeah, 2 people. Hey, hold up, everybody. Technical difficulties. We did a little move. There we go.
I mean, we have nice hair, but our technical skills is not great.
Okay. Cool. So I'm going to leave that open. Yeah, man. We're good.
All right.
All right.
Oh, sweet. Wow, we're back.
Oh! Good to see you, brother.
Starbucks.
Good morning.
Starbucks in hand, live from my own kitchen. I mean, dining room / kitchen.
Dining room / kitchen / everything. I feel like, this table's a little bit, reminds me of like a Florida condo.
It's a little bit lopsided too and covered in fingerprints, but don't judge.
Well, you know me. I'm a very judgmental man.
So cheers to the viewers out there. I haven't posted in social media for like 6 days, so yeah, this is
It's exciting. So for those of you that don't know, I think you might have heard last week, Paul, Dave, and Vito, they all took off to Vegas for Dave's bachelor party.
for a double
bachelor party. Sounds like no fun at all. And I think there's like 30 guys or something like that, and they got a
it sounds like it'll be a quiet evening every
evening.
Every evening will be very quiet. Yeah. Lots of reading, but
lots of reading by the pool.
Yeah,
relaxing.
A lot of relaxing. Yeah.
So, anyways, I called my man here, Mr. Brock Frost, and I said, let's do something. So we got
and naturally I'm shy, but so it took a lot of convincing. So I'm like, well, all right, I'll do it.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
We talk about the shyness that we both have a lot of the time together, and enjoy that.
Good.
So this guy is an investment wizard. You're an investment wizard.
Well, I wouldn't say
wizard. You're en route to wizardry.
I hope so, man.
Yeah,
I absolutely love everything I am doing. Yeah,
and you've been going crazy. You've been traveling. You traveled. You got a new cottage.
Yeah, a motorcycle.
You got a motorcycle.
It's almost like some people say hit my midlife crisis. I just started spending. I'm like, I'm 36, maybe. We'll call
I don't know what to do.
I'm like, buy more stuff I don't need. Sorry, I almost swore there.
That's okay.
But I'm done traveling for the year. I'm taking the rest of the year off.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
sticking around here for the holiday.
Yeah,
for Halloween and Christmas. And
oh yes, I'm really into Halloween.
I can tell.
Me and my no kids and no reason.
Yeah, but you got to dress up. Actually, I got something for you. Are you coming to? I didn't tell you that.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna plug it right now. My wife's band, The Hornets, is playing at the Black Sheep in Wakefield, October 28th.
The lovely Anna Campbell.
The lovely Anna Campbell.
Very lovely, yes.
It's a costume party, Studio 54 theme. So disco night.
When, on Halloween?
On Saturday night, the October 28th. You got to come up, man.
Yeah, I might have to be
okay. That'll be fun.
All right. I've been antisocial for a bit, but maybe it's time to step
Well, it's because you got so much shit going on.
I know, man.
You got to deal with it.
I'm burnt out, dude.
So, you know what? We didn't really get any people with questions or comments. We can get into some investments later, but let's get into the newest project, which is mind-blowing to me.
Well,
it's very impressive. Anyone that can do this is an impressive person.
Well, that's very sweet
in my books. Pun intended.
That's very sweet of you.
This is the investor mindset. How to create the perfect mental state to build wealth in real estate, even after hitting rock bottom.
Oh yes,
Frost.
The second subtitle is the key. Right?
That's huge. People will see that and they'll be like, I'm intrigued, and then they're like, okay, you got me.
Yeah. So anyways, I'll give you a synopsis about the book. The reason behind the book. First of all, you know my story, Greg. We work together, and so. But for people that are watching, there's kind of a double theme towards the book. I wanted to kind of share my personal story, share my struggle that I had over the last 3 years, and it was a bad struggle. I had a lot of ups and downs, and then I also want to tie it into the success I've had so far in real estate. So I'll give you a quick 60 seconds version of what started the book. So in 2014, I was on top of the world, as I like to say, from Cornwall, so small town. I had a multi-million-dollar real estate investment, portfolio that I built in a matter of a few years, just through some creative tactics and techniques. I owned a hockey team. Which sounds cool, but trust me, that was the beginning of the end for me, that one. I was a politician, so some people know I was a city councillor for a year. I'd been elected to city council in 2014. Lots of philanthropy stuff going on in the community. I was the top sales producer at my brokerage, blah, blah, blah. So in 2014, I was just like on top of the world, man. I thought I was just...
Nothing can stop me now.
Exactly. I'm like, I'll do anything, right? So, and then the ego gets involved. You're a politician, you're in the media all the time. You have a hockey team. I was the savior of the team. And then what happened was the hockey team started, and I had to start paying the expenses. And... basically, I was losing $15,000 every week, and every week out of the gate, And even though the last 2 years the owners had failed, but my ego, I'm like, I can fix this because I know so much about hockey
and owning a hockey team.
I can't even skate, so naturally buying a hockey team made perfect sense to me, and. So right out of the gate, I was losing $15,000 a week, and then I knew I had to dump the team. But I knew if I dumped the team, I'd be chastised in the community. Right. So what I ended up doing, I cut corners. I wrote a check that I knew that wouldn't cash. Long story short, I got charged with fraud. And when you're a politician in a small community and you get charged with fraud, you tend to make the news quite often. So and then the rumors and all the stories became daily. I was in the news about some sort of different scandal or whatever. They just started making up all these rumors. And when you're a realtor and an investor and you get charged with fraud, you tend to lose your clients as well. So within a year, I had resigned from council. I moved to Ottawa to make a fresh start. But the loss of kind of the reputation and the business had left me financially strapped. I ended up filing a $2 million consumer proposal. That is basically one step before bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. And I started sucking back antidepressants and booze like it was a sport. Right? And then one day, this is how it ties in the book, one day I just said, enough is enough, I snapped out of it, mm-hmm. And I said, no, this is not the end, this is the beginning, mm-hmm. And so I fought hard. I ended up getting a discharge on my criminal case. I was able to satisfy all my debts to the proposal and keep every single one of my properties. And now I've rebuilt myself in Ottawa as an investor, rebuilt my client base. I'm actually having the best sales year of my life right now. So the book ties into, there's a lot of books about different real estate tactics and tricks you can do to make money, but this one ties into what type of mindset do you have to be a successful investor. No one ever talks about that. No. So it ties into my story, but it shows you what I've learned through my kind of rock bottom, and then tie that into how I've now exploded through in my investment career. So that's kind of the book.
And it's huge that you say mindset, because it's so popular right now. Just people, mental health, mental awareness, mindfulness, mindset, like focus, you know, I think it's a perfect time to be coming out with something like this, because I honestly feel that just having that word mindset in it increases your readership massively.
Yeah, it is, because like mental health is, we talked about this the other day. We were obviously preparing for today, but mindset is huge. Right now I'm taking a huge break. Last week I hit like a mental wall, dude. Like I just collapsed mentally. I was just burnt out mentally. Yeah. And then I'm like, I remember talking to my doctor. Like, well, what do you have going on? I said, not much. I just have 2 real estate projects, 2 sales careers, 35 tenants. I just bought a cottage, motorcycle, dealing with 2 cars that break down, constant women issues, which everybody always has. Oh, and I'm writing a new book. He's like, you're gonna have a stroke.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just like, yeah. So I've just been laying low. I'm doing this because, you're a good friend, but I'm going to lay low off social media for a bit and just focus on mental health. There's a chapter in my book, actually. It's part 2. It's chapter 5. It's called Take Your Mental Health Seriously. And I really do that. I'm like, every day I tend to, I do something for myself mentally, whether it's meditation or just kind of reflecting or reading. Health is a big thing, and especially these days, but not many people focus on mental health. And if you want to be successful in anything, not just with real estate, You have to have your mind. You have to have your head clear, man.
It has to be.
Right now, I'm useless to anything. Right now, I need just a mental break. It's like blowing a fuse.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, and it's cool too because imagine if you had a family right now.
I'd be useless. I mean, no, and that's scary because I'm like, part of the downfall that I had in Cornwall 3 years ago was I took on way too much, right? And my ego got involved, and I'm just like, I burnt myself out. I had too many things, and I did everything poorly. So I'm like, I learned that lesson, man.
Right.
And I actually blacked out at a political debate 3 years ago, and that was obviously in the news because I was just burnt. So last week,
you blacked. Like, did you collapse?
Collapsed, man. I went to I had just fainted. Right, and then more rumors. Oh, I'm a drug addict and blah blah blah. Okay, that's why I fainted. No, I was just literally burnt. So I thought so now, like last week when I was literally just mentally drained, I'm like, I now recognize. I said, hold on, and I'm taking it. Like your health is. I'm health conscious and I'm very mental health conscious. And I'm useless. Everybody is useless if your head is not on straight. Yeah. You can't do anything. You can't be a good husband or father or realtor or whatever you're in, any aspect of life. So there's a whole chapter dedicated to that specific topic.
Well, and it's, lately, I've been practicing certain things for a while and I've got back into it. Once again, you sometimes you fall off track, but just the getting up at 5 in the morning, because I mean I have kids, I have to get up to have me time is very important, so I have to get up at 5 and I have my little morning routine. But ever since I got back into it about a month and a half ago, like everything is just like the day is easier, the week is easier, the month was easier. Everything's kind of falling into place, more than the chaos of just getting up and going. You have no time. And then by the time, it's night, you're burnt. It's like, what do you do, right? You can't concentrate on anything.
And it's amazing what a short little ritual, like we were talking the other day, you 10 minutes of meditation, you have your apple cider vinegar, which, honestly, man, that stuff is so nasty.
Apple cider vinegar, lemon, and cayenne pepper.
I did that for a good couple of months, and it is good. You feel it. But I'm like, it doesn't go down smoothly.
No, well, it depends. You use it with honey. My wife takes it with honey, but anyways.
Whatever. But I'm saying we're talking about you have a little routine, and it's amazing what even 20 minutes can do.
Oh, yeah.
People get just caught up with just life, and people don't realize how much stress affects them in all aspects of life. It's just like there's no...
No, you don't until you step out of it. Until you take the time to step out of it.
Stress, like I'm so anti-stress. After my hiatus in Cornwall, I'm just so anti-stress. I'm so anti-negativity because I find a choice. We have 24 hours in a day. You can either be positive, you can be negative. You can be stressed, you can be relaxed.
You choose.
It's a choice, I think. So so lately, when I burnt out like last week, I'm like, it wasn't even a question of me having to take a break. It was, it's 100% because I know if my head's not, I can't do anything.
You can't.
I'm done. I'm just taking a break.
And it's cool that you did that because literally to make the decision it takes 5 seconds, right?
It does. I'm just like, hey, well, I'm like, thank you, body, for letting me know that you're burnt out, and
thank you, body.
Yeah, thank you, body. No, but our body is amazing, and our mind's even more amazing. It's like, yo, Frost, slow it down. Like, thank you, brain.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And fully accepting it. It's amazing
when
you have that moment.
Yeah, just kind of.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's. So that ties into the book. So the book is about real estate in a sense, but the lessons I'm teaching and my experiences can tie into any aspect of life, really.
Okay, yeah, so this is cool. I like the way that you set it up. Becoming a visionary, the power of ego, fearlessness, embrace your failures, the positive side of negativity, take action.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things, like, we can touch base on a couple.
Whichever you'd like to touch base on, for sure.
Like embracing your failure. That's one thing. So, people will say I'm crazy, I'm impulsive. I'm like,
yes.
Okay. I'm not going to deny that because I'm fearless.
Yeah.
Right. So I've made mistakes because of my fearlessness, but I've also had a lot of successes because of my fearlessness. What I refuse to be in life is someone that just coasts through the conventional plane that society dictates and have an average life with
right.
It's not a wrong life. That is not for me. I refuse to do that. And people are everyone who has, people are bound by inaction because they're so scared of the alternative, right? It's the pleasure versus pain dynamic, right? So it's like the pain of the unknown is so much greater than the pleasure of just this comfort. Even though we know the comfort zone is just not what we want, but we can't do it. We just can't do it.
We could talk about that forever.
We could, but I'm saying that's so being So chapter 3, fearlessness, is just like, just do it. So when I do something, I mean, I don't expect to fail, but I don't care if I do, because I have learned so much. Like, look at what happened to me in Coral. I'm writing a book now and having a best sales career ever because of all these failures and just being fearless. Most people are like, they would never even take that chance, and therefore they'll never get ahead. They will coast slowly, and again, nothing wrong with that. It's just you got to decide what you want in life. What I cannot stand is people who complain about their status quo and never do anything about it. I'd rather say, look, I am happy with this conservative approach. I'm planning for when I'm 7 years old. Great, if you're happy. But don't say you're miserable and don't do anything about it. Yeah. That's what drives me crazy.
I know, and it happens all the time. Like I see it day-to-day basis.
Yeah, majority of people are. Chapter 5, the positive side of negativity. So, and I actually made up my own quote for this one. It's train your brain to see the positive in everything. And I truly believe
100%.
And I believe that. So there's like, again, when I was sucking back those antidepressants like 2 years ago, and when I snapped out of them, I just started looking at everything that had happened like the last year, why it happened, and what I could learn, and why. There has to be a bigger reason all this happened. Mm-hmm. And I started literally taking notes on this happened. What's the good that came out of that? Right. So, for example, why did I get into politics? Why did I buy a hockey team? Because my ego was through the roof, man. Like straight up. And there's another chapter called The Power of Ego, about how, ego can be, Brad Vanderwall, if you're watching, ego is not your amigo, as he says. But
ego's not your amigo.
Yeah, but it can be, right? So my ego has helped me be a visionary. It has made me fearless. It has convinced me that I can do anything I want, right? Because my ego is just like, you'll do it, man. I'm just like, 100%. But also the other time, when you make decisions purely based on ego, that's when you're going to find yourself in a jam.
Yeah.
Right? So I got into politics for all the wrong reasons. Right? And the world responded with all this. I'm like, I see now. Good lesson learned.
Didn't plan properly.
I mean, it was the wrong. So if you can take ego out of some of your decision making, you'll be that much further ahead. But ego, I think ego is a strong thing. People, look at any successful person in the world.
Oh, yeah.
They have massive egos.
Of course. But
they know how to control it, right? It's very rare we find a truly successful, life-changing individual that doesn't have an ego. Because naturally you have to get an ego. If everybody
you naturally have to have it. You just got to understand yourself well enough to know how to use it.
Exactly. It's hard. It just comes with the territory. You can't when I was the savior of Cornwall hockey team and a politician, I was in the media all the time. I'm like, you develop that ego, because people just kept talking to you and wanting to see you. I'm like, so naturally, without even trying, your ego starts to and then it just got out of control, right? And that happens, it'll happen.
Then it explodes.
Yeah, then it explodes. But so that there's a chapter dedicated to that. And what else we got here?
We got lots of stuff here. Touch base.
I want to touch base on this one, actually. So part 2 is called setting the stage for success. So part 1 is about the foundation of a mindset, but part 2 is about setting the stage. So building kind of a force field of greatness around you. I think that was actually the chapter quote. And number 3, and I preach this all the time, is called master the art of leverage. Okay, and in brackets, time and money. So if anybody has ever seen anything I posted or talked about, I'm a big believer in leverage. What leverage is especially in the investment world, for example, is that I have a lot of projects going on and a lot of things going on, but I don't really physically do it myself, right? So I have, for example, I'm doing a development right now and a flip right now. Although that's my project, I have people
doing it for
me. Yeah. So I'm leveraging people and time in that. I'm leveraging my time to maximize my profits. And that's not to say that I'm taking advantage of anybody, because they are all
Everybody's getting paid.
Everybody's getting paid. Yeah. And you look at the people involved in one project: lawyers, inspectors, appraisers, contractors, material supplies, the city, the engineers, designers. Everybody benefits from these one projects, but I'm leveraging their time to maximize my return, and in sync I can do other projects.
Yeah, because if you took that all on yourself, you'd go crazy.
Exactly. So that's leveraging time. I have 35 tenants, but I have a property manager that I leverage, but I also teach her to leverage her time through technology as well. So technology is great because it allows you to leverage your time wherever you're at. And now leverage of money it comes down to, it ties perfectly into real estate, how, through financing. I have several $1 million in real estate, but I'm like, it's all leveraged money, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm making money off other people's money. So if you learn that, you become like a little bit of a puppet master at the end of the day. So people always say, "Oh, you're never working." I'm like, well, it's true in a sense, but I'm always working, yeah. Right? So, but I don't physically ever have to be anywhere. But that's the beauty of it. I can travel. I can hang out with you as long as I have my phone and I'm on top of things and I can coordinate. That's leverage. Mm-hmm. So leverage is one of the crucial lessons that someone has to master to be successful. Again, and I think in any aspect of business, though.
It's true.
Because if you're an employee, for example, that's the whole employee thing. If you're an employee, you work 40 hours a week, you're trading your time exactly for a salary.
Right.
There's no leverage.
There's nothing.
There's a cap. If you're paid per hour, there's 168 hours a week maximum, if you never slept or did anything else other than work, that you can make money on. That's not leverage.
And you're not creating wealth for yourself in any other way, right? Other than trying to save, which we know this day and age is not the easiest thing to do. If you're just working a 9 to 5 and hoping for,
that's the concern
down the road, right?
That's again, and the world needs a big mix of people. Not everybody can be a crazy people like us.
Yeah, crazy.
But, I would say unique. Unique. But no, like you'll never be wealthy if you don't learn to leverage. It's impossible. Even a business owner who has employees, he or her is leveraging employees to make money. If you're trading your time 100% for money, you will never be wealthy unless you're the unique person where you're a NFL superstar or an actor or something like that, right?
Yeah,
that's
the 1% of the 1%.
No,
right?
Yeah, exactly. That's an exception to the rule. If you're trading time for money, and again, it's not just in real estate; it's anything. But I tie that into real estate. I'm a huge proponent of leverage.
Okay, let's get over to this side here.
And then so chapter 3 is about applying your knowledge. So it's all the different types of investing. I have rentals, flips, renovates and refinances, joint ventures, which is partnering with money people to acquire other properties, private financing, whether you're borrowing or lending it out, dealing with the banks, equity leveraging, so maybe cross-collateral blanketing your existing properties to pull money out to acquire others, power of sales. So what I'm doing is I'm tying in every aspect of real estate, but tying it back to the mindset. So what type of mindset do you need to be successful in all these aspects, right? So it ties right back in.
This is amazing.
So, for example, the rental, like what do you have to know your numbers, or for flips, you have to know your numbers, you have to become a visionary, for example, right? You have to.
Let's just, while we're on this, let's step out of this for a second, because this comes up a lot. I get this question all the time in business, the flip.
Yeah.
Flipping in Ottawa.
Yeah, it's tough.
Okay, so expand on that just a little bit.
Okay, so I have a flip going on right now as we speak on Prince of Wales. I'm going to talk about flips in general, first of all. So flip is all about numbers. Right. Most investing is, but flip is you have to know your numbers, and you have to know them very well, because a lot of people, the person that I'm doing the flip with, I'm not going to mention names, but he or she lost money the last 2 flips with another investor because they just didn't know the numbers. So it's a high risk, but a very high potential for return if you know your numbers. So a flip, there's 4 aspects when you look at a flip. So that's what you tell your clients. You have to know what is the value of the finished product, right?
Before you even start.
You have to know your numbers. So if you overestimate a value, you're going to find yourself in hot water. Right? So you have to have an exit strategy with anything you do. What is the exit strategy? How do I get my money out? So, and I see a lot of people overestimate because they're biased. They're like, oh, I can sell it for this, and I'm like, but they're not looking at the numbers, right? And a lot of people don't factor in the carrying costs in a flip, right? So carrying costs are during the time of ownership. You own the property, you have expenses as an owner, right? You don't just, because you don't buy it and then flip the next day. What is your mortgage interest during that time? You're paying property taxes, you're paying utilities, you're paying insurance.
What ifs?
All of these things. Yeah. So you got to factor that in. And this can be substantial. This one I'm doing now, there's probably $10,000 in carrying costs that I had to look at.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? Because mortgage interest too, right? Depending on if you're getting private financing or whatever. And then a big one obviously is material costs. Right? So the one doing now, we're about 10 days behind because of massive electrical issues that we couldn't have seen, right?
Right. Okay. Right? Just like the shows.
Just like, oh, look at what we found here.
Yeah.
Homemade electrical equipment. Thank you, previous seller. Right? So it's like, so in a budget, you have to know your budget, but you also have to have a contingency.
You have to anticipate.
Yes, you have to over budget.
And sorry to interrupt, that's one thing that I say to people who have ever spoken to me about doing a flip. And I'm not an expert in that, but, I'd say, well, you want to do it, like, how much do you want to spend? Well, we figured we could do it, and we would, spend this much, spend 40. And I'd be like, well, in my opinion, you should have 80 to 100 in the bank and able to access it. And I mean, that's like, a little bit far-fetched, but still, it's like, you got to be prepared for all this extra cost that you're totally unaware of.
Yes, it's not only having access to the cash, but you have to know that, like you can have access to as much money you want, but it doesn't mean it makes sense to spend it all.
No, right.
You know what I mean? So
back to the numbers.
Like, you have to just, what I tell people is add 20% to your your rental costs.
Okay.
There's also soft costs. What if you need building permits?
Right.
What if you have to deal with the city on stuff like that, right? There's acquisition costs. Some people don't even factor in land transfer tax, legal fees, title insurance, lender fees, right? So you look at all these things, like your buffer for your margins start to slim, and that's why flips are tough. Is like, I'm actually, after this broadcast, no joke, I'm going to put an offer on a flip.
Okay.
Now this is a unique property. It's the first time I've ever seen it. I've been doing this 6 years, and this is a court-ordered sale. So this is basically a partnership gone bad, very bad. That the sellers, I don't know if it was personal. I'm guessing it's personal, because for two business partners to go through the courts, which is expensive and time,
right,
they must hate each other or something, right? So they could not agree on this, and they got a court to force the sale of the property. Exactly.
That's insane.
It's insane, because I don't want to talk about a deal I haven't closed yet, but I don't want to lead anybody else to stealing it before 10 o'clock. But I mean, any pragmatic person would just say, look, if we hate each other, let's sell it. Because if we go through the court, it's going to be 15 grand and more time. And again, they have carrying costs.
That's insane.
Right? So it is crazy. So there's six other offers on the property. But the issue that I'm talking with the other realtor to make sure that he explains to the other buyers, I'm trying to get the other buyers out, clearly, because I want in. One thing I found out, I talked to my accountant, is that HST will be applicable on this purchase.
Okay.
HST on this deal, you're looking at another 50 to 60 grand.
So why is that?
It's because HST is applicable sometimes in commercial transactions, or when someone is in the business of building and reselling. So you buy from a builder, you're paying HST, because the builder is in the business of buying and selling properties. It's their business, right? So if you just buy and build for yourself, and a couple of years later sell it, there's no HST. You're not in the business of it. But these two people specifically started and built this thing for profit. HST is now applicable. So most buyers going in, maybe not, when you do the offers, just put HST included in. Now this one's additional too. So imagine, I want the other realtor to make sure that these other clients know, if they got 50 grand more, then that's going to probably kill all their offers. There's also,
that's smart.
Okay, yeah. And there's also the potential of it, because it's almost a court sale, and it's basically a new build that is not complete. There are substantially good chances that the city is involved, or the work orders, there's a work order against the property, or the permit process is not complete. So the seller's not going to warrant anything, because it's kind of a power sale. But I'm talking to the realtor, and I'm saying, like, look at it, and there has to be. There's no way that they have final permit yet on this property. They don't have occupancy permit because the building's not complete. Therefore, what I'm getting at is that I want him to educate the new buyers. Like, look, you are buying a property that likely you're going to be absorbing existing permit issues, which is an expense. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to position myself by scaring them.
You're positioning yourself by educating.
Correct.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's the one. So I'm going with my contractor after this.
Yeah.
I went and saw it yesterday, but I'm bringing her to go get a firm idea on cost.
Right.
And then I'll be working on an offer today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is.
I'll be excited to get a message from you later.
Yeah,
on.
this is a cool one. So, anyways, that's the flip. Sorry for rambling, but
no.
The flip is all about numbers. They're hard to find, because what happens, you need big margins,
and especially in the city. I find in this city, because the margin, work.
Margins don't work, and plus, you have a lot of vultures, like myself. Not vultures, but, investors that are on it. Like the one I'm doing now, there was 4 offers on it. I won because I went in basically unconditional. You have to go unconditional. Or else you're just like, you go in there conditional, I'm like, get out of here. Yeah. Right? So you just got to go hard and fast. So I have to do unconditional. Now that's why you have to pre-do your due diligence. Of course, flip, right? You cannot go in with a good deposit, quick close, and no conditions. It's kind of your only chance to do it. Because usually a flip, you're going to have some sort of financial problem. That's why it's a flip, right? It's either going to be a power sale, a divorce, or in this case, a partnership gone on. They want to get rid of it. They don't want to deal with all these conditions. They just want to liquidate. So if you do your due diligence before, you can usually get at a decent deal. But they are hard to find. I've seen probably another 10 since the one I bought. Because I'm looking for the next project, and this one, none of them have made sense other than this one.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to expand on it, because people ask me about them all the time, and I'm just like, man, do you even know what you're getting into?
They don't. People say, I want to do a flip. They don't know what that means. They want to make money is what they're saying.
Yeah, well, when they see this something on TV, right?
Oh,
thinking all these cities in the U.S. where the costs are like
Yeah, but those shows are made up. I was on HGTV. It's all the numbers are made up just for a show. Like, I buy for this, then I put in this, and I make this. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing. Do that. We're all smiles, and we
come to my seminar. I'll teach you how to do this.
Yeah, for $69.95. They just make up numbers. The numbers are not real, dude.
Okay, so good to know. Let's just get off on one more little topic so we can sign off here.
Let's talk about you.
What else? Oh, we're not going to talk about me today. Another time though, we should do that one-on-one with you and I, and you ask me the questions. That would be amazing.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
What is it like to be Greg Campbell? Like, we're all
tough.
just dying. Okay,
it's
so
tough.
Maybe I'll touch on base on this then. My existing portfolio. Okay, so
good idea.
So I've been doing this for 6 years, literally 6 years and 2 months. I'm in the process of we got some comments here. I don't know
what just happened there. Oh, we are getting comments here. Is the new haircut part of the closing remarks? Pay me $30,000 and I'll come with you and let you use my native status card. Save yourself $30K. Wow.
Whoever said that, well done. Wow. I like that.
All right,
that's a good one.
We'll leave that at that.
All right, I'm adding you as a friend later. So I'm kind of going to start entering a second phase of my investment career, where I started 6 years ago with no money. And I just started buying anything I could.
Right.
I made an expected if you're lending me money, I'm buying a house. That's what I told people. So I'm just I use creative financing, leverage. I use vendor takebacks, cross collateral, blanket mortgages, just to buy everything. And so you have to build. That's how you build wealth. You're building equity. And now I want to kind of get away from that. I want to get more into development. So for any viewers out there, this is kind of an offer I have. This is probably about 5 rentals that I have that I'm looking to unload. Not because they're not profitable, they're all cash flow positive. It's just that I want to get more into development. I'd like to I would like to get that equity back. So what I'll do is and I bought several this way, is that I will provide vendor take-back financing. Now what that is essentially I, as a seller, will provide the buyer with the down payment to buy a property. Give you just a quick example. Say the property is worth $100,000. I'll get you financing from an A lender for 80% of the value. I lend you as a seller the additional 20%. You now have a first and second mortgage. But the beauty is you've now acquired a cash flow producing property for no money down. I did this several times, and eventually long term you start paying down that first mortgage and building equity through appreciation as well. So I have 5 properties. If anybody's interested, I'll be looking at unloading those strategically, to qualified people. That's it.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So I went to the RIO, which is the Ottawa Real Estate Investors Organization meeting on Wednesday night, and I kind of there were about 300 people there. And I just kind of said this. I got bombarded after, and I appreciate it because it's people that are just starting out. They're like, what? I can get a rental for no money?
How do you do this, man?
Well, that's what I did, right? Yeah. I remember it was one lady I met off Kijiji once, and she was just she was in her late 60s, and she wanted to unload. I said, I'll buy you everything that you want to sell me if you lend me the down payment. I bought 3.
Crazy.
And I still own the 3 of them.
See? That's a great story.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
closing remarks?
Stay positive.
Stay positive.
And take care of number one first, up here.
Hey, I love it. Sir, thank you very much. If anyone has any questions, wants to talk to this gentleman further, I mean, if you know him, reach out to him. If you don't, reach out to me and we can put you in touch.
Yeah.
Because he's a very friendly man and easy to get along with and communicate with.
All right.
Okay.
Ciao, guys.
Have a great weekend, everybody. See you next week. Woo! Woo!